Part two. Part two of the EV Hummer reveal. The last video was part one. This is part two. We're going to continue our conversation about the Hummer EV reveal. Let us connect for a second, and then we'll continue the conversation. All right. Hey, thanks, guys. We're going to call this part two, and we're live. Now, yay, we're live. So I hope you guys got a notification. You know those moments we're talking about the Hummer EV. It's pivotal. The last question was about infrastructure. We're going to continue the conversation right there after the internet just went, bye, see ya, but we're back. So the conversation is going to be about infrastructure. Somebody asked, would I support charging stations on the Rubicon to charge these vehicles? And I said, no, not really. I've got the FJ80, has 230 mile range because I only get 10 to 11 miles per gallon. And I plan around that. But with my rig, I can drive to Truckee, California, and I can fill up at a gas station. Well, with the Hummer EV, it's got better range, but still, when I get out there, it has to be able to charge, at the location, so then I can go off grid and come back. So infrastructure is going to be a large question for all of these vehicles. Yo, thanks for checking in again, you guys. Now, one thing I do like, there's no free lunch. And what I mean by that is everything is trade-offs. So if you see one electric vehicle that does one thing well, say range, then you're going to see another electric vehicle that does another thing well, say 0 to 60, and everything is a trade-off. But one of the things that I liked is when they were optimizing their battery charging solution. I don't know the mystical electrical sparky stuff that makes smoke if you do it wrong. But what I do know is that they have a very fast charge rate for the first 100 miles. So you can charge to get a 100-mile range very quickly with the proper infrastructure. That's cool. In EV land, and I'm learning as I go, just like you guys, but in EV land, what I have learned is that you live between 20 and 80% charge. That's kind of where you live. In order to get a full charge, you have to leave it on the charger for a considerable amount of time. But you can get, a 100-mile charge relatively quickly. So I thought that was really cool. You guys, hi from Baja, Mexico. How's it going? We were talking about the Hummer EV and our experience with it to date. It is cool. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and ask. We did have the firsthand experience. I'm still not used to the frunk, as it's called, the front trunk, that since it has no engine up there. Removable sky panels, very cool. They all store very neatly in the front trunk area. That's really convenient. I mean, they just fit in there perfectly. It's good design. What else? Let's see. It won't clack like an FJ40 diesel. No, it will not clack like an FJ40 diesel. That is true. It'll be relatively quiet. We went through the watts to freedom process, and that is the process by which you prepare to launch a vehicle that weighs what the Hummer EV weighs from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It goes through a process of cooling the batteries, cooling the systems. It lowers the vehicle as low as it will go. And you do get a countdown before it launches the vehicle to 60 miles an hour. That's appropriate. It is no small thing. Okay, this vehicle weighs over 10,000 pounds. You heard that right. Batteries are heavy, and batteries to go 350 miles are heavy. So this vehicle, which weighs over 10,000 pounds, goes from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. It is appropriate that you have a countdown if you're going to launch this vehicle to 60 miles an hour at that rate of speed. So it's really cool. So the tow capacity, we don't know. Thanks for asking. We don't know the tow capacity right now, though it was talked about. It will tow. It is expected that it will tow. Only kind of related. You will see if the eagle-eyed among you will see the tow hooks on the front and back. And those are all rated tow hooks. They're very stout. The vehicle does have lockers, so it has front and rear lockers as well, which is cool. You can lock the front, you can lock just the rear, you can lock them both. And the UI for control, which I'm sure we will be able to share relatively quickly, is really cool. So, of course, with a fly-by-wire system, you could have everything be touch panel and screens. And the UI is highly configurable. That's really, really cool. You have different UI modes. When I say UI, I am talking about user interface. I'm talking about the dashboard. You can go into different modes. Of course, light mode and dark mode is a no-brainer for night versus day. But then depending on what you're doing at the vehicle, you can display different instrumentation because it's all screens. So you have an off-road UI display, you have an on-road UI display, you have a simplified display, and then you have a custom configuration. You can configure the display for your needs. So really, really cool stuff. But you also have tactile buttons that are large. So you're off-road, you're bumping around. You guys know what that's like. Little tiny buttons and little tiny interfaces don't work. Those stereo head units with the little tiny buttons, they don't work when you're off-road. And the layout of the Hummer EV is really, really cool. Great big chunky buttons that supplement the screen displays and the touch displays, so you can click big buttons, and they're very, very easy to use. All right, you guys. Hey, I am going to wrap up by playing the video again, but if you guys have any questions before I sign out, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. One thing, it's big. It's big. You can kind of see that 37s will fit on that thing. Those are 35s right now. Bead lockers, and they're real bead locks, not for show bead locks. Anything else? Regarding price point, oh yeah, Mike, thanks. Price point, yeah, 2020 Raptor MSRP is 120K, right? So, not for everyone. I did not spend anywhere near that, nor have I dropped that amount of money on the FJ80 in all the years that I've had it. But for a brand new, cutting edge, razor's edge of technology electric off-road vehicle of that caliber, it's not going to be cheap, right? So that's the deal. Can I post that picture on Instagram? John B? Yes, we will. I'll post it later on tonight, but I got to check with my boss, and my boss is Corey. But yes, I believe that we can post that photo later on tonight so that you guys can see. Maybe we'll put up a little bit of an album up there. Hey, Chris, Google search said price is 70 grand. Here's why. The first vehicle that will be released is a relatively limited run. I'm not going to speculate about the numbers, but it is the top tier Hummer EV. So they're not introducing a base model first. They're introducing the top tier Hummer EV with all the things. Okay. the follow-on models will have a lower price point in the $70,000 range. So top tier first, 120K, and then the lower tier in 2023 or 24, right? So that's how they're rolling it out. I like that. I agree with that. Let me tell you why. Because I'm here about the technology, and I want to see it. Base model, sure. I am not interested in the Hummer EV because it is a economical Ford F-150 replacement. That is not why I'm interested in this vehicle. I'm interested in the vehicle because, as I've said many times, the first true off-road contender in the EV marketplace. I like the other offerings and what I'm seeing, but it's not like this, right? So that's why I'm interested in it. So I want to see that top tier. I want to see it on the trails. I want to take it on the trails and see what it can do off-road. All right, any other questions, you guys? If you overland bound me in the chat, if you say overland bound, I'll see it. But wait, no, here, I'll just take 30 seconds. Hold on. Hey, Rodrigo? What's going on? Are we ready for EV overland? Austin, that's what this is all about, right? This is really interesting. And again, saying it again, give me enough torque, range, and reliability, and I'll wheel it. I don't care what it is. That's what I need, and it delivers. And you can't deny that we're going in that direction. So it has a profound effect on adventure travel. EV vehicles will have a profound impact as we go forward. So it's just something to be aware of, right? Are we ready for it? Let me wheel it. Let me put some desert pinstripes on that bad boy, and then I'll tell you whether we're ready for it or not. That's what I plan to do. We've talked about that. I do want to say that we've talked about many ideas with GMC about future collaborations, but nothing we're ready to talk about. I can say there is quite a bit of discussion that took place that we were able to capture, and so when they are ready, we'll be able to share more of that information. But clearly, how information is fed out, the timing of that information is very critical for understandable reasons by GM. They need to hit a certain cadence in terms of the information that goes out there. So we'll be careful about that and respect that. Let's see, looks very stout. Yep. Yeah. 120K is a lot. Yeah, it's not, that's not chump change. That's a lot of gold ingots. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Are we able to get the full 350 miles? Don't know. Right? Let's wheel it. Let's find out what it'll do. Oh, hey, no worries. We're not ditching the 80. In fact, I'm working on it. You'll see videos coming out. We're doing some TLC to the 80, and we'll have that forever. Not ditching the 80. Again, ask me interesting questions. I don't remember everything I saw. I don't remember, but if you ask a question, then maybe I'll remember what I, saw. Ask questions. No, seriously, like Corey and I were among the first 10 people to see the vehicle that did not work directly with the team. So yeah, it was neat. Yeah, so we're not ditching the 80. Overland Bound is not going EV, none of that kind of stuff. We're involved. We're excited to be collaborating with GMC because we want to see the technology. We want to be able to evaluate it. We want to give a overlander's perspective back to GMC, and we want to provide our viewpoint to the overlanding community. What's this all about? That's why we're involved with the project. All right, let's see. Were the tires proprietary? Yes. So Rob, 37s, you can fit 37s on it. They said that in the video. We talked about it in person. There was some question whether they were going to reveal that because, you know, from a design perspective and legal perspective, it's designed for 35s, but in the video, they clearly stated publicly that yes, in fact, the designers made sure you could put 37-inch tires on it. So yes, that is a fact. In terms of the proprietary tires, dang it, I'm gonna let you down. Can't remember. I don't think so. I really don't think that they're proprietary for the vehicle, but I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Comments down below. I will remember. Corey will help me remember to get back on the tire question. What's the bed look like? Tie downs, etc. Easily accessible tie downs. Don't remember. But it looks like a truck bed, right? It looks like a functional truck bed. Don't know about the tie downs. I'll have to get back to you on that too. No auto deflate inflate. Actually, there was talk of a central tire inflation system. So it may have it. It may have that. And any of those silly side pockets. What do you mean, John? What silly side pockets? Let's see. What else did I miss? Okay, I think... oh, side pockets in the bed. I didn't notice any side pockets in the bed. No, I didn't notice any of those. Okay. So let me tell you, Tom, good question. So we spent about 5 minutes talking about aftermarket parts for the EV vehicle and for the Hummer. And it has been a intentional focus for the design team of the Hummer. They're already working with aftermarket parts manufacturers to have equipment for the Hummer EV. So unlike, you know, some of the other EV contenders, it's been a focus for them. So they know of the capabilities and the demand for aftermarket parts. So they will be working with aftermarket vendors, aftermarket manufacturers for parts. All right. Initial impressions, is it a viable option moving forward? I think it's a viable option. And DC is asking again, I know that I am sort of repeating myself, but I also want to answer the questions. Yeah, Tom, of course, it's fairly vague, right? I'm giving you vague information, but it's what I know. I do know it's a focus. I don't know how many aftermarket parts will be available and you know what the focus is. And I'll be honest, I know some pretty exciting things about the Hummer that I am holding back because I want to be real clear with GMC what they're ready to talk about. I learned more than I'm saying, and I'm sort of, you know, talking about things that we saw in the video, and then I'll play the video again here as we conclude. But I am staying focused on some of my insights on what you saw in the video. Let's see. There'll be more, Joshua Cornelius, there'll be more than one model, but the first model is the top tier model, and then 2022, 2023, 2024, there'll be other versions available. Let's see. Okay, DC, missed the first part. What were your initial impressions? It's really exciting. You know, what do we need as overlanders? We need torque, reliability, and range. That's what we need for off-road adventure travel. And so they are focusing in that area, and it's one of the first EV contenders that is focused on off-road capability. So for me, that's really exciting. And stat for stat, if you look at, you know, all of the basic stats that we need for an off-road rock crawling capable vehicle, it hits it and then some. So extraction mode up to 21 inches of ground clearance, approach angle, departure angle, breakover angle with, you know, extraction mode is ridiculous. Lockers front and rear, clearly the torque that you want, the horsepower, the equivalent horsepower that you want. And you know, it seems really excited. Articulated steering, front and rear tires, crab mode, but also reducing turning radius. All that stuff is really, really cool. 35s, you know, able to sport 37s. All right. Any info on recovery or winch use? I know it can be recovered, and there is talk of using a winch, but I don't have detailed information with you on that point. It was a topic of conversation, and basically the engineering team said, yeah, later, right? Like, they're not quite ready to talk about that yet. Clearly the draw of a winch is huge, right? The output required, what the impact of the battery is going to be. Do you have to have auxiliary batteries? The requirement for a winch is huge if it's an electric winch. So stay tuned on that, but it is something that it seems like is in the works. All right. What else? Extraction mode, I think you could drive around town with it. I think you can set it. I think that mostly, now I'm speculating. Clearly, I just want to be clear, I'm speculating. But if I thought about, you know, how I would use extraction mode, I think I would use it in small snippets, right? For very specific things. I don't think I would drive around town with 6 inches of additional ground clearance just for stability reasons. And my thoughts about it being a permanent thing is speculation. All right, so it's just, I would think that it would be something you could drive around town with, but that's speculation. New medallion for the vehicle. Jack, if we do a Hummer EV Overland Bound medallion, will you get a Hummer? I don't know. We'll see. Bad dude, corn pop. Good question. But I'm gonna say yes, that's gonna be a standard mode. The question is, can you put 37s on it without having to pump up the suspension, raise the suspension? I think the answer is yes. If you look at the vehicle, I can fit 37s on that. It doesn't need to raise up anymore. So I think so. Yeah. All right. Too poor to pay attention. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. Let's see. Estimated range 350. All right, you guys. I'm doing some. I'm repeating myself a little bit. I'm glad to answer your questions, but hey, Tom, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. For all of our warts and all, right? We're certainly not perfect, but yeah, we try and keep it real here. All right, you guys. Neil, you want to field test it? We might be able to arrange that. Let's see. All right, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Put your questions in the comments. This video is going to be part 2 of the 2-parter, and I'm glad to get on there and answer your specific questions. If there's anything I wasn't able to answer, I can check with GMC and see if we can answer that information. All right, you guys? Okay, hey, really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate the community. I think this is very exciting to have a true off-road contender entering the market. We'll follow it, and we'll bring you guys information as soon as we get it and can share. All right, you guys. Thanks a lot. Let's watch it one more time. See you next time, guys.
The real revolutionaries the ones that change the game forever. Understanding strength is never enough. Evolving, imagining, seeing the world not as it is, but how it could be. That's how true greatness is realized. That is how you change the world.
Introducing the world's first all-electric super truck, the revolutionary GMC Hummer EV. With no limits, no emissions, and no equals, it will leave everything you thought possible in a cloud of dust. The quiet revolution begins with the nearly silent all-electric propulsion system that offers 1,000 horsepower, 11,500 pound-feet of torque. And for the brave souls who dare to engage watts to freedom, the thrill of accelerating 0 to 60 in approximately 3 seconds. The innovation continues with the next generation of Super Cruise, a driver assistance feature that offers hands-free driving with automatic lane changing on compatible roads. And for remarkable driving precision, Hummer EV is engineered with segment-exclusive four-wheel steering to reduce turning radius and enhance overall maneuverability. Want the leading edge of electric vehicle technology? We engineered the Detroit-built Hummer EV with Ultium batteries and drive units to maximize energy storage for an estimated range of 350-plus miles. And with 800-volt DC fast charging up to 350 kilowatts, you can charge nearly 100 miles in just 10 minutes. Things get even more revolutionary when you head off the pavement, because off-road dominance is engineered into every aspect of the GMC Hummer EV. It all starts with towering ground clearance, made possible by specially engineered 35-inch tires for an optimal balance of on- and off-road performance. And it's 37-inch tire capable for those who demand even more. With customizable drive modes, Hummer EV puts a whole new level of off-road mastery at your fingertips. Want to take on the toughest obstacles? Initiate the available first-of-its-kind Extract mode, and Hummer EV activates its adaptive air ride suspension to lift approximately 6 inches. That's revolutionary breakout capability. For driving information in real time, UltraVision offers a segment-leading number of camera views with up to 18, including underbody forward and rear-facing cameras. So you can enhance performance, maximize capability, and leave the world behind. But we didn't stop there. With a revolutionary new setting called Crab Walk, Hummer EV has the ability to drive diagonally for an agility no other truck can match. And full underbody armor and rock sliders help make Hummer EV ready to conquer even the toughest terrains. It's innovation engineered to ensure domination. But Hummer EV is much more than an off-road beast. From the distinctive signature of its 6-bar grille to its micro-optic welcome, walkaway, and battery charging animations, every aspect of the Hummer EV has been designed to look and act unlike anything out there. Hummer EV delivers an unprecedented combination of innovation and luxury. The industry-leading infinity roof, transparent sky panels, and rear drop glass give the Hummer EV an immersive open-air design so you can experience the world like never before, or even the universe for that matter. The first and only one of its kind, Hummer EV. Among the first to own the revolutionary Hummer EV. Reserve your all-electric Super Truck now at GMC.com.